can accuse David Moyes of not getting the best out of certain players. The latest one, again, being Nikola Vlasic. Now, this is due to the progress of Croatia in the World Cup, so it's topical, but also his form over in Italy as he looks to move to Torino on a permanent transfer in the January transfer window, what feels like quite a low fee of just over 12 million. We never saw the best of him in a clad in blue shirt, so Moyes is going to get criticism for that. You can criticise David Moyes or accuse David Moyes of not knowing how to use certain players to their best potential, the likes of Lucas Paqueta. You can accuse David Moyes of certain players going backwards in their form under his stewardship at West Ham United. I say you, I do. I am one of the first people to do it. We all do it. It's a natural thing. We're football fans. We're going to talk about our football club. One of the topics is always going to be not getting the best out of certain players. Certain players are underperforming at our clubs. We're going to discuss it. Why is this happening? And usually you look at the manager for that and say, well, why is that happening? And that's okay. That's going to happen. It happens at every club under every single manager. So Alex Ferguson got many, many transfers wrong at Man United. We can all think of flops. People that went to Old Trafford for reasonable amounts of money, achieved nothing, was a bit of a flop and left pretty quickly as well. We can all think of them. But on the flip side, there's also players that have improved. Players that have evolved under David Moyes, or at the very least maintained their performance levels. Now that sounds like a backhanded compliment, but I'm talking about players that perhaps are getting older, but their performance levels aren't really in line with their age, if you like Aaron Cresswell. Aaron Cresswell is now 32 years of age. I think he's playing brilliant football this season. Under David Moyes, he has evolved. His game has changed. It's a lot different than what it was under Sam Allardyce and Slaven Bilic. We've seen him play left centre-back, which is not something we saw before David Moyes. He's got the best out of Craig Dawson. I don't think I've seen Craig Dawson play better football before West Ham. I'll be shocked if I see it after West Ham as well. Jesse Lingard, as Gonzalo says, possibly the best 6 months he will play in football was under David Moyes. And at the very top of that list, we've also seen the evolution of Michail Antonio, Marko Natovic moving to a striker's position. But at the very, very top of that list, I think I'd probably put Jarrod Bowen. In terms of Moyes getting the absolute best out of somebody at West Ham United, Jarrod Bowen would be at the very top of that list. Someone he's taken from the Championship, and last season he was in the England squad. This season he was in the England squad. He was in the Nations League squad back in September. Jarrod may very well have been watching that game last night against France thinking I could have been there. Maybe not on the pitch, but I could have been in Qatar with the boys. He's probably been thinking it for the whole tournament so far. That shirt was mine and I've lost it this season due to my form. It's been pinched by either Marcus Rashford or James Maddison. Now, even if he did go to Qatar, I'd imagine his role would have been similar to James Maddison, watching from the sidelines. But Bowen at the start of the season, I imagine would have expected to have been in that World Cup squad. I expected Jarrod Bowen to be in the World Cup squad at the start of the season. His form, which is 2 goals, 2 goals in the Premier League, he's got 5 goals this season, that stopped him going. So he's gone backwards this season. However, I don't lay that blame at the door of David Moyes, because David Moyes is showing for 2.5 seasons prior, he knows how to use Jarrod Bowen. He knows how to get the best out of him. That he allows Jarrod Bowen to influence the way that we play, the way that he plays, so that he's getting goals, he's getting assists, he's got into the England team. That has all happened under David Moyes. There hasn't been a previous manager with Bowen at West Ham United to show Moyes what to do. Moyes had to, discover it. The evidence is there from Hull, but to take him from the Championship and put him into the Premier League, and he did it immediately. I feel like there's a bit of a myth when it comes to Jarrod that, he had to wait for his chance under Moyes. Moyes didn't put him in immediately, and I dispute that massively. You won't convince me otherwise. I've gone back and double, triple, quadruple checked my facts here, my opinion here, which is the first 2 games where we signed him when we were playing Brighton, so he couldn't be in that squad. That horrific 3-3 game when we were 3-1 up and we changed formation and went to a back 3. Masuaku came on with Drew 3-0, Glenn Murray, who else? That was Bowen signed that game, so he couldn't play that one. The following 2 games he came off the bench, and that was away to Liverpool and away to Man City. The 3rd game he was available for, he started, which was home to Southampton. He then started every single game that season. He didn't once come out the starting 11. Once he was in the starting 11, he remained in it. His 3rd possible appearance for West Ham, he started. And like I said, the 2 that he didn't start was away to Liverpool and away to Man City. I felt at the time, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again for the new subscribers, I felt this was good management. We'd bought a player We took him to a team that was in a relegation battle. That's why we signed him. We needed him to contribute to the final third of the pitch, help provide goals, along with Thomas Souček in midfield, to help keep us up. They were our two significant signings in that January transfer window that was going to come in and get us out of relegation battle. So we took a winger / striker from the Championship, in form, with confidence. And I thought it was good management by Moyes not playing him in games that he was probably not going to see the ball very much, that might have dented his confidence, that might have just knocked him a little bit, questioning him, actually, can I do this? I've struggled up against Cancelo, I've struggled against Andy Robertson. Don't know who the Man City left back was at the time, maybe it was Zinchenko, not Cancelo, but he would have thought, hang on a minute, play him in a more winnable fixture against Southampton from his first start, and he got a goal. And I thought that was terrific management by David Moyes. And from then on, from that day on, he's been ever present in David Moyes' team. He's made that spot his own. He's kept it. He's retained it. And I think this season, he probably should have been dropped for some of the games. But he's stayed in it because he's got the trust of David Moyes. But going back to how Moyes first managed him, I thought he got it right. And there's a second myth. And the second myth is Bowen scored goals to keep us up that season. But he didn't. He scored one. Well, he did. He scored one goal, and that was against Southampton when we won 3-1. Sebastian Haller played that game. That was the game that we went full on attacking. We had Bowen on the right, Haller and Tony up front, and I think it was Fanals on the left. It was a really good game of football. I remember being at that game, enjoying it, and I came away buzzing, thinking, here we go, well, we've got a bit of a solution that's going to keep us up. Obviously then we had COVID round the corner, which just sort of knocked everything back. Premier League resumed. Jarrod Bowen didn't score another goal that season. Did not score another goal. So when I see the two myths, and it's not, someone doesn't always say the same two things, but I often see, Bowen scored loads of goals, he's part of the reason we stay up. I agree, the second part, that is part of the reason we stay up. There was no goals, and Moyes did put him in straight away. But what he did do was provide assists that season. I had a little look just to double check. 4 assists that season. And in the 4 assists, it was across 3 games. He got 2 assists against Chelsea. In those 3 games, we got 7 points. Crucial games for us to stay up. And like I said, that win against Chelsea where Yarmolenko scored the winner of the 3-2 game. Bowen set up the first 2 goals for Souček and Mikel Antonio. Big part to play. The second season, his first full season at West Ham, 8 goals and 6 assists in 40 appearances. And then last season, obviously, 18 goals and 13 assists in 51 games. The last season was just incredible, really. 31 goal involvements in 51 games. And I was hoping he would, I say kick on. It was going to be difficult. It's a bit like the Jesse Lingard thing. When we had Lingard on loan, if we signed him in the summer, he was never going to sustain that form for a whole season. It was just ridiculous. What was it? 11 goals and 9 goals in 16 games. 11 goals in 16 games, something like that. He was never going to do it. 31 goal involvements in 51 games. It's quite big. It is quite big. If he could just copy and paste it this season, I'd bite your arm off for that. Yes, please. Up there for Ham of the Year contender once again. And it was going to be difficult. But I felt he could do it because Moyes... Do you need to get something for a West Ham United fan this Christmas? Perhaps you just want to treat yourself, or maybe even the other half is badgering you about what to get you for Christmas this year. Head over to our online store. We've still got some Christmas jumpers, limited stock, but we've still got some available. We've also got some West Ham beer mats, which are just fantastic. We're a bit biased, but they are brilliant. We've got signed books, including the Tony Carr autobiography. We've got t-shirts, polo shirts, mugs, and even some West Ham socks. There's something for everyone. So if you're looking to buy something for someone else or just treat yourself, head over to our shop at hammerschatstore.com. Link in description and the pinned comments of this video. Unlike with Antonio, where he changed the role of Antonio, it felt like permanent with Jarrod Bowen. Actually, this is what Bowen is. This is what we bought. A right winger that can provide in the Premier League, can provide goals, can provide assists. And I felt there was no reason almost for that to stop coming into this season. And it has, for whatever reason. And I actually don't know the answer. I don't have an opinion as to why it hasn't worked out. Usually with some players, like I said with Paqueta, you can make excuses as to why he's not hit the ground running at West Ham. But with Bowen this season, I don't know. Is there something going on in his private life we don't know about? Possibly. We don't know about it, and we shouldn't know about it. It's his private life. It should be kept away from this. But for whatever reason, it's not worked out. And fair play to Moyes, because he has try to play Jarrod Bowen through this poor form. He has done it, and he's very protective, I feel, of Bowen. After some games where I think Bowen's had an okay game at best, Moyes will say, oh, he's getting back to his old self, and I think, well, I think that's pushing it. I think that's been a bit too kind. He was a bit better today, but so technically you're right, it is progress, but it's a bit like having an empty glass and putting in a very, very small smidgen. You go, you got a lot more water than you did. Well, yes, you are correct, but it's still 90% empty. Probably a bad analogy, but you know what I mean. A little bit means progress, but it's still not enough. So what is the answer? Well, I still don't know. But the 2 friendlies so far has provided me with a little bit of hope. Because if I had 3 wishes for what I want to see from the rest of the season from West Ham, and they've got to be realistic. It's got to be based on evidence. So you're not allowed a wish which is, we'll sign Calvin Bassey for the left-back spot in January. It's unrealistic. It's not going to happen. There's got to be something that you know can happen under the current circumstances at West Ham, which is David Moyes at the helm. And the form of Jarrod Bowen is something that can be fixed. I wouldn't be surprised if Jarrod Bowen come back and Jarrod Bowen actually plays really well and has a big say in the rest of the season. It would not surprise me. Why? Because I know it can work. I know Moyes can get that out of Jarrod Bowen. I know Bowen can work under our current tactics. So why wouldn't we see it for the second half of the season? But I guess the play devil's advocate is why hasn't it worked for the first half? Don't know. So like I said, if I had 3 wishes, the form of Jarrod Bowen to return would be at the very top, because if we can get that Jarrod Bowen back, we will get goals, we will get assists. That leads to points. Points lead to moving up the table, progress, possibly progress in the cup competitions. If we can get the best out of Jarrod Bowen, it'll be a huge, huge difference to what happens for the rest of the season, but also the manager's future as well. The manager's future will be changed by getting the best out of Jarrod Bowen, or it can be at least impacted by that. And the 2 friendlies so far, and like I said, it's friendlies, glorified training sessions, pinch of salt stuff. But I've been looking hard, and sometimes it has to be hard. I've been looking hard for a little bit of hope, for a little bit of something to cling to make me look forward to the Brentford game. And I'm aware we play Arsenal. I've ignored that on purpose. I'm not looking forward to the Arsenal game. Nothing can make me look forward to that. Nothing will change my mind. But the Brentford game, that's the fixture I'm looking at, thinking, right, I want to see something. I want to see things, plural. 3 or 4 things that's completely different to the first half of the season. And it doesn't have to be tactics. It doesn't have to be player selection. Ideally, a bit of both of those. But player performances as well come into this. And Jarrod Bowen is one in particular I'm looking at, thinking, I need more from you. And if we could get more from you, because we know Ben Rama's firing on the left. Ben Rama's come into the World Cup as our player in form. During the World Cup, he's been our player in form, and I would expect, it's fair to say now, regardless of what happens against Fulham, coming out the World Cup, he's our player in form. So you've got that on the left-hand side. So if you can get the right-hand side with Jarrod firing, then you're laughing. And I know a lot of people, by the way, are going to say part of the reason for Bowen's form could be, and I don't disagree with this, the poor right-backs. What's our weakness this season? It's been right back. Right back's been our weakest spot this season. We've not got an answer. We still don't have an answer. Ben Johnson ain't been cutting it. Soufal ain't been cutting it. And Kerr being a liability. Has that impacted Jarrod Bowen? I mean, possibly. But going forward, should that impact Bowen? I don't think so. Does that impact his assists? A lot of those assists I've spoke about is set-piece deliveries. Well, that's on Bowen. That's on nobody else. That's on Jarrod. His set-pieces have been poor this season. But anyway, going back for the 3rd time, going tangents and all that, going back to the friendly stuff, I'm clinging to hope here. And Bowen's given me a little bit of that. I think against Cambridge, the second half felt testimonial. It felt like a little bit of fun vibes, hey, let's all have a bit of fun, let's celebrate Greg Taylor's 10 years at Cambridge United. But in the first half, I felt there was 2 or 3 West Ham players taking it serious within reason. No tackles, no slight tackling or anything like that, but putting in a bit of effort, running hard, trying to create things. And those 3 players for me in the first half were Downs, Fanals and Jarrod Bowen. I thought those three were taking it serious, saying, right, come on, we've got to do something here. We're in a relegation battle, got to go out, got to take this serious. It's a training session, but you've got to work hard in training, so let's work hard here. And I felt a little bit of that from Bowen. Fantastic goal, right foot, first touch, bang, into the top corner. Really, really good finish from him. Pinch of salt stuff though, friendly only, right. Yesterday in Italy against Udinese, I thought he was our best player. I thought he was our man of the match. Again, it's only friendly. Nobody needs to tell me it's only friendly reading too much into it. But I think you can read some things into it. And my evidence for that is a negative side of it, which was the summer. I remember doing a couple of videos saying we've looked a bit crap. We've looked crap pre-season. The creativity, there hasn't been any. We've looked rubbish. There's no goal threat. And a lot of people agree, but there was also people who said, it means nothing, it's friendlies. But that continued into the pre-season. I would argue that pre-season, the things I was worried about became true during the season, because the evidence is there now. It's there, it's factual. We have struggled. Creativity has been lesser than it was last season. So this 2 games thus far, Bowen is the one player I'm actually thinking, here we go. Here's a guy that looks like he's got a point to prove. Because there's no worries about his professionalism, his attitude, how hard he works. Even when he's been poor this season, defensively, he's been fine. Defensively, he's been good. He's been given 100%. The effort's there. It's just the end product. It's just not quite working. Impacting the play in the final third has not been there from him. Yesterday, I thought he was really good. And I thought that end product was there. He was looking good. His dribbles were good. He's cutting inside. He was linking up well with Sufal. Linking up relatively well with Scamacca. Got the assist for Antonio unselfishly. Probably should have scored, but hit the post. McKinley alluded to it after the game, saying we need to be a bit better in the final third with our creativity and finishing of chances. I don't disagree with that. But I thought it was good from Jarrod Bowen. And I came away yesterday impressed by what I've seen from Bowen for a second game running. It's only friendlies, but I do feel he's taken them as serious as he can be. And I don't say that about every player. I don't say that. The centre backs are worrying me. Ogbonna and Dawson. I'm worried about them. I don't think either they're not taking it serious or, well, they're playing poorly. But Bowen, I'm liking what I've seen, and like I said, there's only so much I can take it. It's that glass thing. My glass can only be 30% full because it's friendlies. I can only get 30% excited because it's uncompetitive fixtures. But I'm 30% excited about Jarrod Bowen. And I think if we can get the best out of Jarrod Bowen, which we have seen under David Moyes before, we have seen in these tactics before, so it's not unrealistic. Do you know when we say we get the best out of Paqueta at West Ham, we'll be fine. But we don't know if we can do that. We don't know. But with Bowen, we do. We do know we can see goals, we can see assists. We do know he's playing in his best position. He's, with that partnership with Scamacca, we've only seen it in glimpses, but that Wolves game, them two linking up were fantastic. We can get that going. If we can just fix what's happening behind them, at the right back, in the centre midfield, attacking midfield area, then we can get better, we can improve. And surely, goals and assists for Jarrod Bowen will return. And if they do, goals lead to points, points lead to progress. So anyway, there you go. If you've enjoyed my ramblings around Jarrod Bowen, please do drop a like on this video, subscribe if you're new, and tomorrow night, or Thursday night, but possibly tomorrow night, I haven't spoken to Gonzo about scheduling yet, but either tomorrow or Thursday, we've got our next former West Ham player interview. I thoroughly enjoyed doing it, and I think it's one of the best ones yet, actually. So, yeah, when you see it go up tomorrow or Thursday, do check it out if you can. Anyway, I'll catch up with you tomorrow one way or another. See you in a bit.